Hey, hello everyone. I'm super excited to be here and let's talk about Android Studio. I'm Murat, a developer advocate in Android DevRel, and as I mentioned, today I'll be speaking about some new features of Android Studio. Actually, some of the features I'll talk about today are already released in the stable version of Android Studio, or they are just improvements on the tools which has been available for a while in the stable channel. However, the rest is in the canary release, and with the canary releases, we want to give you, the developers, to have access to these tools as early as possible so that you can tell us what you think and give us your feedback. In the past, we have improved a lot of tools depending on your feedback, and we're doing that with the new tools again. So if you're on the Canary release train, please tell us what you think. And with that, let's take a look at what I'm going to talk about today. First, I'll talk about Layout Inspector, Database Inspector, Work Manager Inspector. We'll see accessibility support in Layout Editor, Test Matrix, and that's not all. We have a few more tools to help you during your developments. So with that, let's start with Layout Inspector. Well, designing UI is hard, but debugging UI is even harder. The view system is hierarchical, which means presenting the views in a 2D plane doesn't always help. The z-index of a view can complicate things, and it's not always super easy to find out what might be wrong. The UI editor is great, but when you're debugging issues, it's not always helpful because it doesn't reflect what is really going on the device screen. On the other hand, we all know what could help. We're actually familiar with those kind of debugging tools from Chrome DevTools, only if we had something similar to Chrome DevTools for Android. So the new layout inspector is getting pretty close to that. To start, the new layout inspector can show your view in a 3D perspective as well as a 2D flat plane. The 3D perspective can be really helpful to figure out if a view is on top of another, or if the view is pushed out of the screen, or simply has wrong size. You can rotate the views, change the layer spacing, which allows you to separate views from each other and see what is really going on and what is their relationship with each other. You can also select to view only parents or only children of a view, which allows you to focus on a single branch of a view tree and not getting confused and distracted with other views on the screen. You can use a 3D rotation perspective with subtree and parent tree of your choice too. Another great new feature of Layout Inspector is to navigate to declared property when you click on an attribute. With that, you can easily navigate between view declaration without the hassle of browsing all the files while you're debugging. You can simply click an attribute and change its declared values and run your app again. Finally, we are making it easier to work with designers. If you have a design file, you can load it as an overlay and change the alpha value to see how close you are getting to the provided design. You can see the design and the real app screen on top of each other. And we will all see these through demos. So today I'll be doing a lot of demos and I'll have very few slides actually. I'm using an internal build of Android Studio because I'll be demoing some stuff which is not released yet. So with that many demos, I'm pretty sure something will fail, but bear with me. At worst case, I have some pre-recorded videos. So let me switch to Android Studio and let's take a look at our first demo. So I have some notes here to not miss any point. Okay, all the demos I'll be showing on open source projects which we released or code labs. This is Sunflower. So I just ran Sunflower and connected with Layout Inspector. If you're not familiar with it, you can open Layout Inspector from tool windows by clicking Layout Inspector. And when you run the app, you can connect through the running processes. So I have the Sunflower app here, but there is something missing on screen. If I go to plant list, there should be a filter button here. Let's debug this. Where has our button gone? Let me switch to 3D perspective. Okay, there are too many layers here, so probably this won't help. Let me try to find the toolbar from the component tree. It shouldn't be that hard to find it here. Here we go. We have the toolbar. Okay, when I click this, I can, in the 3D rotation view, I can see our toolbar here, but the size doesn't seem correct. It's like completely flat. Okay, if we take a look at the properties here, actually I can see the height is 0, which shouldn't be correct. So let's find this component. If I click the ID, the tools bring me to the right place. And here I can see there's a hard-coded 0dp, which doesn't make any sense. So let me copy this instead, and let's fix this. Okay, now I can run the app again, and hopefully it will go quick. Yay. Now let's switch back to, first let's go to plant list and connect. Yep. Okay, the filter button is back, but okay, something is wrong. We lost the title. Actually, you can, let me zoom in a bit. You can see that the title is behind the toolbar. There is something wrong here. And if we go back to the layout file, I can see the ordering is wrong. Let's move this text view here and run our app again. With this, probably we'll have everything fixed, and once the app runs, I can show you some other exciting stuff with the layout inspector. Let's see if we will see the title. Yeah, everything is fixed. We have the, let's see if the filter button is still there. Yeah, everything seems to be fixed. Now let's go back to the layout inspector and I'll show you other stuff I mentioned in the slides. So I told you you can see a subtree of a view or a parents of a view. Let's, for example, see the subtree of this cart view. Nice, I can see all the views this cart view has. Or I can do the opposite and show only parents, which will do the opposite and show only parents of this cart view. And another thing I mentioned, let's see everything, was adding overlays. Let's see how close we are to the provided design. To open an overlay, I click this and I have some screenshots here. Things will not match. I did this on purpose so you can see both in the same emulator and see the differences. We have the phone frame and everything which shouldn't be there, but you can see, you can switch between the design and the real app, and see what's going on and what's different. Cool. Let me stop this and open the next project while I switch to slides so I don't make you wait. Cool. Let's go back to the slides. We can skip this video. Next, we have Database Inspector. Database Inspector is super amazing. I'm super excited with this tool. If you haven't yet tried it, the Database Inspector makes working with databases super easy. Usually working with databases is kind of not that much fun because it's hard. And mobile makes this even worse. Unlike web or server-side development, it's not super easy to query and even see your databases. It gets even harder if you want to modify or delete the data. Similarly, there is no easy way to watch your tables for changes while you're interacting with the app. If you're using Chrome, you can make sure that queries are valid because they're compiled, but still there is no easy way to run a query and see the results. The Database Inspector is available starting with version 4.1 Canary. With Database Inspector, you can edit your databases, just like editing a spreadsheet. You can click columns to order the data, change the paging size, and page between different data sets. You can do edits, change any value while you're running the app. You can delete existing data, you can add new data, and test your app according to that. If you're using Room and observing changes with live data or flow, the changes will automatically reflect it in your app without you restarting the app or navigating away and back to the fragment or activity. And with the latest version, there are improvements on the Database Inspector. Now you can keep the database connection open after the app disconnects. This gives you more freedom to work on the database if you need to work on the database for a long time. Also, the query editor is improved significantly, which is mostly on the feedback we got from you during the Canary. Okay, enough talking. Let's see a demo. Let me again switch to Android Studio instead of the video and see if things work. So I have the app running already, and let's see if we already connected to the database. Please don't fail. Okay, we have the Database Inspector. Okay, now let's do some search. Let's say I'm not super familiar with this app, and I want to see how this app works. Let's go ahead and search for repositories. I'm searching for Android repositories. And if I click this table and enable live updates, I can actually see my query result here. This is super nice, but let's see some other stuff. By the way, you can also change the paging size here. We don't have much data here, but you can change the paging size and page back or forward. So I have all the repos here. Let's say I want to figure out how the data retrieval works. Let's go to a project and actually let me select something else. Let's go this. Okay, I have a bunch of users here, and I opened the user table. I can see the table is empty. So with this, I'll basically debug how the data retrieval works and when do we refresh the data. I select one user, and the moment I select, I can see the data is loaded and saved into the database. But I'm still not sure if this data will be refreshed if I go back and come to this user again. To see that, let me edit this. But to do that, first I unselect live updates and make it not read-only. Now, by the way, if you can see, the change automatically reflected here, so everything works so magically. Okay, let's go back and select this user again. As you can see, the data is not overridden. The changes I made is here, so I can make sure the app is not overriding the stuff I'm doing. Now let's see some other stuff. I mentioned about testing our queries. So let me open a DAO file and do some experiments. Okay, I scroll down to, let's say, search. You can see the gutter icon here, and if I click this, it basically brings me a pop-up which I can enter my parameters. Previously, I searched for Android, so let's do that again. And here I can see the results. This is super nice. And if, by the way, you can see the query editor here. Let's play with that. Actually, let's query the repo table. So I'll change this to repo, and probably we have a lot, and you can see it's giving me an error because it's validating the query. And probably this has too much data, so let's limit it to 5 and click run. And everything works. This is database inspector, and as I mentioned, you can basically do anything on your database and see it in your app. But again, what if things you need to work on your database for quite long? Then you can click keep database open, and let me kill this app. Okay, so the app is killed, and oh no, I failed to kill the app. Go. Okay, I'll kill the app from here, but this will also, oh, it doesn't. Okay, perfect. I killed the app, and now you can see I can still play with the data and change my queries, and everything is still working. So with that, let me switch to my next demo, and while it's building, let's switch to slides. All right, we can skip the video. And next we have Work Manager Inspector. Just like databases, workers are a bit hard to work with simply because once they are created and queued, they're invisible. There's not much you can do once you create a worker and queue it because you cannot basically access it or cancel it or even check the status. You simply don't see what's going on. With Work Manager Inspector, you can now see the current status of a worker, if it is running, waiting, retrying, or complete, or maybe failed. You can also cancel a worker or a work chain, and you can see if the worker is failed, retrying, and you can even see the data. So with that, let's again switch to Android Studio, and I'll take a look at my notes. Okay, here we have another app. This is the Work Manager CodeLab app. I just added another worker to complicate the flow, but everything is basically the CodeLab. So once again, I open the app inspection and see why I'm not connected. Oops, okay, I guess one demo failed. Let me run again. Come on. Yeah, this happens with this internal build. I need to probably restart it, but let me give another try with another emulator really quick. If not, I'll show you the video. I'm super excited with this because I'll be showing you something which is not yet released. Oh yeah, it's connected. Nice. Great. Okay, maybe there was something wrong with that emulator. So I switched to Work Manager Inspector tab. Probably I ran this before. That's why you have all these things. But let me run it again and select a picture. So this app basically applies blur filter on the image. And when I click this, you can see all the workers listed here. You can see the status, how much time passed, what's the output data. Also here, you can see all the work details. You can click a continuation to see the work chain. And the thing I'm super excited to show you, which is not yet released, but will be out this week, is the graph view. So with this, you can basically see a graph of all the workers. And that's what I did for this demo. I added a bunch of dummy workers to just complicate the graph. But basically, it was a more straight line for this. And again, from the graph view, you can select the worker, see the status, see the output data. It's really, really cool. And again, you can cancel a worker. You see other workers also canceled, which is super, super amazing. Once again, if you're in the Canary train, make sure you update Android Studio this week so you get all these and you can give us feedback. Let's switch back to slides. Okay, I'll put my notes here. I guess we can skip the video. Next, we have Layout Editor for accessibility support. Accessibility is another area which we are always investing to see what we can improve to help you with your development pain. We've heard your feedback on integrating accessibility tools to Layout Editor. The new Layout Editor has accessibility testing framework integrated to help finding accessibility issues in your views without even running the app. So you can just do everything in the Layout Editor. The accessibility scanner button, which I'll show you shortly, is added to the Layout Editor. And when you click it, it can suggest quick fixes for things like missing content descriptions or small targets, contrast issues, and so on. Again, let me do a quick demo. I don't need to build anything for this demo, so let me open the Showcase app. So let's walk through some views here. Let's open this one. And now we have a new button here, which is the Run Accessibility Scanner. If I click this, it runs through the view and gives me the potential issues. In the message pane, it gives me all the info about this issue, suggested fixes, and everything. Let's select another one. This is probably going to give us some contrast issues. And yes, there is a warning telling us the contrast ratio is too low and we should use something higher. Again, the suggestion is pretty much explaining what I should be doing. And you can also see the issues here in the component tree too. Let's see one other example. Again, I'm running the accessibility scanner. Oh, wow, we have a lot of issues here. And again, if I go to the message, it's basically telling me the bit is 32 bits, and this is not good. We should be using something larger. All right, let's go back to the slides. And skip the video. I I'm super excited everything worked. Next, testing, testing, testing. No matter how much we say testing is important, it's probably still the most underestimated thing in software, which makes the tool support even more important. Testing is always easier than chasing bugs, but running instrument tests can be tricky as they can only run on one device. This makes it harder and more time-consuming on testing different form factors and API levels, which you may end up with only supporting few devices really well and not supporting others that well. With test metrics, now you can run instrumentation tests in parallel. Also, the new results panel makes everything more clear, even if you're running a single test. Again, let's take a look at the tools with a quick demo. So let me open, let me switch to Android Studio and open the database inspector demo since I should have some tests here. Both my emulators are running, as I believe. And let's see, let's test this. So I have a test here, and to run this on multiple devices, first I select multiple devices. Okay, both seems to be selected already. And let me run this test from here. All right. Yep, Gradle build, and let me close this. And hopefully I guess I can hide this too. Okay, Gradle build is running. Let me wait a little, else I can just come back. Okay, let me switch to slides so we can come back to this later. And more. With those, we have some other developer goodies such as ADB over Wi-Fi, Dagger Hilt support for safe arcs, and Android Gradle plugin upgrade assistant. First, ADB over Wi-Fi is probably the most exciting feature among those. Using a USB cable is fine, but today's laptops have less USB ports and we have more USB peripherals. As if this is not enough, we have different combination of USB ports and cables. You can easily forget the cable you need while leaving your house and end up not being able to connect your device to your laptop. And besides all these, we have wireless internet for decades and even wireless charging for quite a while. So why do we need cables? So with ADB over Wi-Fi, you can basically use a QR code or a PIN code to pair your device. It works with devices running Android 11 or above. And basically, once you connect, you can debug everything over Wi-Fi. Embedded emulator is another great feature, which I personally use every day. From recording screencasts to taking screenshots. I don't need to align windows next to each other anymore. And of course, this is not the only use case. Almost every time you are using the emulator, you probably have something running in your Android Studio, so you probably want to go back and see the code. The emulator now launches in a tool window, which you have been seeing in my demos until now, and you can customize it just like any other tool window in Android Studio. Next, Dagger Hilt support. If you're using Dagger or Hilt, following the dependencies are not always super easy. Even if you're experienced with Dagger or Hilt, it's not always super obvious where a dependency is coming from or where it is used. And this gets even worse if you are not familiar with the project and the Dagger setup. So to help you with that, gutter icons are added to Android Studio. If your app uses Dagger or Hilt, you will see these icons. And if you want to see where a dependency is coming from, you can click on the icon with arrow up, and you will see where that dependency is coming from, like this. Or if you want to see where that dependency is used in this time, you can click the tree-shaped icon, and you can see a list of all dependents of this dependency in a list. Again, let's take a look at those in Android Studio. And by the way, I have my test metrics here. As you can see, both the test ran on both devices, and I can see the results. The nice thing is I can see the raw output for each device separately. If something fails, you can see it here on the device which it failed. And now let me open the Dagger Hilt demo really quick. Dagger Hilt. Yes, here. I'm going blind. Okay, now let's open User Manager. Let's say I'm not familiar with this project and want to see how dependency injection works here. If I click this tree, I can see all the dependents who uses this dependency. I see tree view models, some activities, as well as the generated classes, which is shown in a different color. And again, this one uses some dependencies injected into this. So if I want to see those, for example, if I click this, it takes me to user data repository. Let's see the storage. When I click the storage, something interesting happens. Currently, I have different implementations for storage. And when I click this, I can easily see, oh, there's a fake storage implementation just for testing purposes. And when I click this, I can see there is a different test storage module for testing. All right. Support for SafeArcs navigation component is great, but gets even better with proper tool support. Now you can use auto-completion on directions, arcs, and various builder classes. Both Java and Kotlin SafeArcs plugins are supported. And again, I have a quick demo for this if we have time. Let me switch to that. SafeArcs. Again, I did the wrong thing. SafeArcs demo. I wish I could keep all the projects open, but maybe one day. That would be a very good talk topic when I can do that. So here I have the project. This is again from the Code Lab for navigation. Let me open the navigation graph and see it in split view. Here I have an action which takes us to title fragment to game fragment. I want to do this really quick, so I'll just, let me move my notes here. I'll just, enable this. So I added an argument here. Once I add this, now in the title fragment, I can use proper code completion and safely create a new argument with value 6. And instead of this, I can now pass my action. But we also need to change the receiver fragment. So again, we did the title. I go back to game fragment and add an argument here. As you can see, I'm using different default values, so we can see which real value is, where the value is really coming from. And if I go to game fragment, you can see I can now use this to access the arguments in a safe way. And let's add a log line to print out the argument. So if I run this, we will see 6 because I passed 6 from title fragment to game fragment. But let's move on to next topic, and then we can check the logcat. Okay, with that, my final topic for today is Android Gradle plugin upgrade assistant. So, oops. AGP upgrade assistant offers less hassle and more control when it's time to upgrade your Android Gradle plugin. Once you start the upgrade process, you can view steps and toggle the commands which will be performed. You can preview the files which are going to be affected and globally update the deprecated configurations. If you're interested to use the Canary version, here is the first link is for the preview version, which is the Canary, and the release version. Canaries happen for a reason. If you're in the Canary train and it works for you, please give us feedback. Several tools have been improved a lot with your feedback, and we want to continue this trend with the new tools. With that, let me see if my app ran and I can see the log. If not, it's fine. Oh, yeah, I need to click this. And we should have something in the logcat. Yeah, here. You can see the navigation has 6. So I managed to pass the value from title fragment to game fragment in a safe way. So with that, my talk is over, and I have, I think, very little time left for the questions, but I'd love to hear your questions and try to answer them if I can. Thank you. So the first question is, I'm assuming that the database inspector only works with databases, but what about shared preferences? Is there a tool to view it in an application? Yes, the database inspector only works with databases. We are continuing to improving the tools. Stay tuned. If live update is on, do we still have to rerun the app? No, you don't. I mean, that kind of depends on your app architecture, but basically, if the data is loaded via flow or live data, you never need to run the app again. Does the database inspector work as well when using? Oh, by the way, if it was about layout inspector, yes, because the changes you made has not been transferred to the app. So yeah, you need to run the app again. Does the database inspector work as well when using SQL cheaper on top of Room? Last time I checked, it wasn't, but again, stay tuned, and we are continuing improving the tools. What's the max limit of emulators for instrumentation tests execution in parallel? I would love to say your RAM, depending on your RAM. I don't know. I really need to check this, but this is a very good question. If you can follow this up with Twitter, I'll love to, or the chat room, I'll try to answer this. Thank you.